This guy's not from a bowing culture. You bow in Brazil, they'll hit you over the head and take your wallet out of your pocket.
John Jones, I have no respect for Chael because of how he talked about the Brazilian people.
Deal with it.
Chael Sonnen, it's good to see you.
It's good to be seen.
What do you say to the critic who says, well, Sonnen's just a big mouth who was in that fight the first time with Silva because his testosterone levels were 4 times higher than they should have been?
I would say hello.
That's it? That's all you're giving me?
He can roll his wrist and make all the faces he wants at somebody. He's dealing with a gangster.
Is that camera big enough to take in the largest arm in Westland, Oregon that has found its way to Houston, Texas? Because that thing looks a little bit small.
Yeah, I think it is.
All right, well then we can continue.
They hate each other.
I do not like Vanderlei Silva. This is a guy that hides out in Brazil. He doesn't want to be around me because I publicly threatened him and said the next time I see him, I'll be fighting him, and I meant it, and God help me, we're going to fight.
He's a full of shit when he talking like that.
He tried to feed a bus a carrot, and now you're telling me that country has computers? I didn't know that.
You want to know how you could get as much tantalizing conversation from something as Vanderlei Silva? Just talk to my shoe. It's Gerbil, 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 Mr. Sonnen!
Suck my balls.
That is not what I said.
Crow cop, one leg cemetery, one leg, you know, whatever. Well, what happened, Mirko? What happened to your legs? Nothing happened. The referee's not wearing an earpiece. The promoter didn't come in the back and tell your opponent when to go down. That's what happened. I lost my motivation. No, you didn't. You suck. You suck just like Fedor sucks. You suck just like Vanderlei sucks.
He jumped me in front of my wife. You're going to pay for that.
Do you remember when I said he fed the bus a carrot?
I do.
Were you even listening? Is this thing on? Is this on? And then the other one was petting the bus, saying, whoa, big fella. He thought it was a horse. And now you're telling me they have computers in Brazil? That's crazy to me. What was your question?
I fought 49 men. But I trade every one of those memories, I trade every one of those experiences to get in there with Vanderlei Silva one time.
No, I'm sore, tired, under the weather, overtrained, undermotivated, and still tough enough to beat this guy.
This is America. You take what you can get, and you get whatever you can take.
If I say something in a very private manner that isn't intended for a certain audience, yeah, come on, you can't hold that against me. I picked my medium very carefully when I talked about Brazil. I went to the internet. And if I had the foggiest idea that they had computers in Brazil, I wouldn't have done that.
I've been down that way. I've been in the yard before, and I'm not talking about a front yard like you sitting over there holding your little paper clip. I'm talking about the time I had to put a spoon in a pencil sharpener to settle a debt over a pack of cigarettes out by the weight stack. I'm talking about that yard, Mr. Clipboard.
You know, if I beat Anderson Silva, win the world title, I imagine I'll get in a public dispute with the UFC. I'll call Dana a bunch of names throughout the media. I imagine I'll leave the company. After about a year or so, I'll realize there's nowhere else to go, return to the UFC with a raise, and probably coach the reality show.
And that's not a dig at anyone in particular, is it, Chael?
I'm just saying, it seems to be the trend, isn't it? When all is said and done, I will promise you this. It's going to be one more in the win column, one more for the highlight reel, and one more for the bad guy.
It is ridiculous. There's no such thing as pound for pound. There's not. It's this mythical thought. And the people that sit around and attempt to create a pound for pound list are one step away from the same people that sit around and discuss the different possible integers as to why Batman could beat Superman. It's impossible to know. It's a ridiculous topic.
A spoon and a pencil sharpener to settle a debt over a pack of cigarettes out by the weight stack. I just thought of that. I'm a goddamn genius.
Then Anderson's a big bully, you know. He goes out and says just ridiculous things, like he challenges Frank Mir to a fight. He's not qualified to make Frank Mir a sandwich, let alone qualified to get in there and fight with Frank Mir. There's no commission in the world that would sanction that beating.
Chael, Silva has been champion for 5 years, 9 title defenses. Why do you keep calling him a fraud?
Well, listen, I mean, if you beat a guy that then gets cut from the roster, you defeat a guy for the world title, and the guy's not even good enough to hold his spot within the company, I'm not really sure that we can count it.
If I would have beat Anderson, did you watch that fight? In what parallel universe can you punch a man 300 times? He wraps his legs around your head for 8 seconds, and they declare him the winner. In my hometown, on the streets of Westland, Oregon, if you lay on your back with your legs wrapped around a man's head for 8 seconds, that does not make you a winner. That makes not a winner.
When you go around and you pick and choose your opponents, when you try to get away from the tough matches, it's very hard to look at it like a real champion. He beat 9 guys. You say, I've beaten 9 guys in one day before, multiple times as a wrestler. I'm not sure where the number 9 all of a sudden became something to brag about.
Well, I don't do trash talking, at least in my estimation. Perhaps I don't know the definition of it. I feel like I'm just talking. You ask the questions, I answer the questions. I don't know that that's trash. It's sincere and it's from my heart and it's how I feel. I think trash talking, at least my understanding, is kind of where you make something up. Your mom is so fat, that type stuff, when the guy's mother is perfectly in shape. It's just something you say to be funny.
What was your reaction when you heard the Silva quotes that he was going to break all of your teeth and that you weren't going to be able to walk from the octagon?
Well, that's like the big threat in Brazil. We're going to send you to the dentist. He's not the first Brazilian to tell me that. The only resentment and confusion I have is the implication like they've got dentists on every other block in Brazil,
I was in Las Vegas when the Nogueira brothers first touched down in America. There was a bus this is a true story. There was a bus that pulled up to a red light, and Little Nog tried to feed it a carrot while Big Nog was petting it. He thought it was a horse. This really happened. Do you believe me that happened?
There's something wrong with your tooth in Brazil. Some witch doctor waves a fish bone in front of your face and hopes your mouth feels better.
Why do you keep insulting all of Brazil? I saw where you said that while you were talking with your friends about American ingenuity, Brazilians were playing with mud. Why do you keep doing that?
I didn't know that was an insult. I was just stating a matter of fact, as you put it earlier.
Anderson's a dirtbag, and he's also a bully. And he also ducked me for 4 years. Yushin Okami's the last guy to beat him, so he doesn't fight Yushin either.
So the reaction has been what from Brazil? I mean, not that they didn't like you before. Now what's the reaction?
Well, it's so confusing to me. I'm not sure where we got off track. Originally they were upset because I didn't know they had the internet. What do they expect? That I don't have anything better to do than sit around and write down all the different countries that America's given the computer to? I don't have time to keep track of all these things. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings.
This guy's delusional. This guy thinks his 22 wins in Japan were real. With a referee with an earpiece. Look, Vandalay, you didn't win those fights in Japan. You had one fight in Japan, dummy. It was with Charles Crazy Horse Bennett, and you got knocked out. But then again, when you got a guy so delusional that he really thinks he won those fights in Japan, nobody's like let him in on the gag. Hey, Vandalay, you didn't really win those. When you get a guy that delusional...
This man is a champion. Why do you keep disrespecting him?
It's not about respect, man. You should be embarrassed that you even said that. That's street talk. That's what one gangbanger says to another before he takes his coat and shoes. This is an ass-whipping contest in a steel cage on Saturday night, and I don't give a damn if his feelings are hurt. He's going to have a lot more issues when it comes to pain than mental.
Kind of late for game planning, right?
I don't do game plans. Listen, guys, you can take all these guys with their 8th grade education and their gold teeth trying to sit around and break down a fight. This is the most unsophisticated and unwell thought out thing you need to do in life. 2 half-naked men are going to get in a steel cage and fight for the applause of a drunken, rowdy crowd in Houston, Texas on Saturday night. We don't need to plan for this.
What happened in that press conference?
We got asked questions by the media, and then we responded to them with our voices.
The stare down. The stare down.
What happened with the stare down?
You were shoving each other. You held your ground. What happened?
Well, it sounds like you know. It sounds like you just told us.
I want an easy fight. Anderson Silva, Vandalay Silva. Either of the Silvas. Bigfoot Silva. They all suck. Give me a Silva.
Well, what happened? Were you upset? I mean, you don't like this guy. Have you ever fought somebody that you don't like as much as this guy?
Not that I can remember. Not that I can remember, but, I'm house trained. There's nothing going to happen. He was trying to get a fight going. He genuinely wanted punches thrown. He wanted this fight to be disqualified.
We spoke to Vanderlei on Wednesday, and we asked him about you, and he said that obviously not a big fan of yours. He said that he wants you next, and when you do meet, his quote was, he will kill you and he will kill you fast. I'm wondering if you saw that interview, and what do you think of him saying that?
Vanderlei, you are an immigrant from Brazil.
And it was very transparent. He's doing anything he can to make sure that the sanctioned event doesn't take place. But, I didn't fall for it. I'm not going to fall for it. I signed a contract. I want to beat him up, but I've agreed to wait, and I will.
I am a gangster from America. Are you sure you want to play that game with me? Listen, Vanderlei, I will do a home invasion on you. I will cut the power to your house, and the next thing you hear will be me climbing up your stairs in a pair of night vision goggles I bought in the back of Soldier of Fortune magazine.
How haunted were you? How haunted by that law?
Well, it's a nuisance, man. I can tell you that. It's a nuisance. I wish it wouldn't have happened, but it's part of it. It's part of it. It's a two-man sport. And, there's an expression that failure is not an option. And that's a really stupid expression. Failure is always an option.
I'll pick the lock to the master room door, take a picture of you in bed with the Nogueira brothers working on your jiu-jitsu. I'll take said photograph, post it at www.dorksfrombrazil.com. Password, not required. Username, not required.
What are you trying to accomplish when you say that you're going to slap Silva's manager and that you're going to slap Silva's wife on the ass if she doesn't make you a steak medium rare just the way you like it?
You're the second person to ask me that, and I never said it. You'll never find that quote anywhere. You'll never replay it. It simply didn't happen.
That, Vanderlei, is how you threaten somebody, dummy.
I saw it last night. What are you talking about? I saw it with my own eyes.
I'm not kidding in any fashion. That absolutely didn't happen. You absolutely didn't see it. And if you did, then simply bring it up right now. Prove to the world. Well, you can laugh all you want. That's always your go-to when I trump you.
If I told you a karate guy with a disgruntled, has-been, never was that good, B-level actor in his corner is going to headline a UFC, you would have told me I was ridiculous. You would have said maybe in Japan where it's not real, but not here.
When before you go and edit it, when I make you look stupid like an amateur, which is what you just were. You just gave a quote that didn't happen. Now you're sticking by your guns, claiming it happened. I'm challenging you to play it, and your response is to simply laugh.
I don't have a video in front of me.
Well, it was a long time ago. After all, it was last night.